Hi guys, today I'm going to do another day in the life of Olaf the violin maker. So today I got a chiropractic appointment and I decided to walk to my chiropractor before having my coffee or anything, just to get the exercise. I always feel so much better when I get my exercise. So anyway, I'm going to my chiropractor and I'll be back at my shop by 8:30. West End, where I'm walking, is one of the more colourful areas in Brisbane. I really like it for its diversity. So I'm back. I've been to the chiropractor, made my coffee, and now it's time to get to work. My desk is really chaotic this morning, so I'm gonna have to sort that out. But first of all, gotta just get everything ready. I'll turn my glue on, turn my lights on, just look around, see what my jobs are for today. I'm just gonna look around a little bit. I've got a few jobs to do today, so I'm just thinking about some of the work I have to do. Have to work on some varnish damage on 2 violins. I have to plane a fingerboard. I have to clean some instruments. I'm also working on a sort of a bigger crack repair. It's one that I can't fully do the way I want to do because the violin has so much damage on it that the restoration would be thousands of dollars. So I had to do a repair on it, and I'm doing the necessities, but I can't do the whole restoration. It would be quite big. I've got someone trying instruments this afternoon. That's always exciting because I love helping people find their perfect instrument. These guys traveled about 800 kilometers to get here, and we're going to work on finding the perfect instrument. I've got a particular approach to helping people find their instruments, and I try and match it up a little bit with their personality, with their goals, their string playing goals, with how they want to sound. So it's a combination of a whole bunch of things. It's always such an exciting time for players. Sometimes players talk a little bit about it being like walking into Ollivander's shop in Harry Potter to find the right wand. So I've set up some instruments. I'm just going to do the finishing touches. This is my Hofmeister violin. I've finished setting that up last night quite late. I just wanted to make sure that's one of the instruments they get to try. I set up another instrument as well. It's for a different client in a different price class. It's my Grawert Master. Just to give people options. I'm always very fussy with my setups, so that's one thing. I'm super fussy. I do not compromise on my setups. I like to get them just perfect because that's so important for when you're playing. But first things first, I'll do a short meditation. I like to start the day right, and it's all about gratitude, feeling connected to, I think we're all connected in some way, and just being aware of that connection for me, a connection of kindness and love, and that's important to me. So I'm just going to take out a moment to do that. Anyway, back to tidying up my desk. That's much better. So now I can get started. So first of all, today I'm going to check up the 2 instruments I finished setting up yesterday, because I literally just put the strings on, didn't check anything else. I just want to see how everything's settling in. Making sure I got the string height right. The string action is just a tiny bit high, so I'm going to lower it. Great, I'm super happy with that. I'll just check over the other instrument I also set up last night, and then I'll go over to the shop and try the instruments out. I'm not going to show you my checkup of this instrument because there's a lot of other things I want to show you guys that I'm going to work on. And, you know, don't want to make this video 3 hours long. Okay, so I sorted out that other violin and it's looking good. It actually looks fantastic. I'm really happy with it. So now I'm going to try the Hofmeister violin. Oh, that's beautiful. It's got that really nice, deep and rich sound, which is great for, probably not that good for performance, but it's fantastic for a hobby player because a lot of hobby players like to hear themselves play, and that deeper, richer sound is just works so beautifully for that. Having that nice, deep, rich sound quite often is good for recording because recordings often sound a bit trebly, and so it's nice to have that, you know, to have that deeper sound. I know Jesper Heifetz used to love recording on his Guarnerius violin for exactly that reason. Okay, I can just hang that up and then the clients can try it out later. Back to the workshop. Now the next violin is this one here. The entire F-hole, like everything in here just broke out, and like from here to there, it literally, you can kind of see it, it kind of snapped out. I think, I don't know what she was doing, she may have been cleaning or something, but there was an old repair that wasn't done properly, and so the entire thing just snapped off, and she was actually really upset. She called, she was in tears when she called. You know, this violin is very special to her, but it's had multiple repairs, and most of them not very well done. You've got like big chunks of wood just glued over the top of the cracks to support them, and that doesn't really work because it changes the quality of the instrument, and it doesn't tend to actually keep the cracks together. So I like to use small cleats like these. I'm just going to finish off the final details here. Yeah, just finish the cleats off and sand them, and then I'll be able to close this violin, which is great because she wants to get back into playing. Okay, this is all finished. I found a couple of little areas here where some of these other bits that were glued on here have come loose and things like that. I want to glue them all down because if they're left unchecked, they can cause like a buzzing noise. I'll do my best to sort them out. Quite dirty in here, so I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. Actually quite a nice violin. It's such a shame about the top plate. Look at the back, it's a nice old German violin. It's probably made in the Falkland area, but they did make some nice instruments as well. Well, I'm just going to glue this down here, and then I'm going to have to let that dry. I'll just use one of my little tiny clamps. Just checking over everything else. I've actually cleaned a bit of the glue off, that like there was a lot of old glue stuck all around. So I've cleaned a bit of that off, and just checking if there's anything loose at all before I glue the instrument shut. So obviously I have to let this dry. It'll dry quite quickly. These kinds of things, you know, because they're not actually structural, you know, they'll stay firm very quickly. So I don't need to clamp it for a really long time. So I'll be able to glue this shut this afternoon. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bridge. This is another violin that I'm going to set up for clients trying instruments today. Just you know, just to give a few more options. And a bit later today, we are actually going to package up one of my Piere Lomont Master violins to send to America. I just got to take a couple of photos to make sure they're super happy with the way it looks, And then, and then we will send that off, and there'll be a very excited person waiting for that violin in the States. I'm going to fit a bridge. There you go, all finished. I do want to put some graphite into the string grooves just to make sure that the strings smoothly slip across. So earlier on I planed the fingerboard, so I am just adjusting the string height on the nut here. The pegs are all fitted, but I'm just putting peg paste on just to make sure that they move super smoothly. Normally I've got my son doing it, but he's on holidays at the moment, or vacation as you like to say in America, and he just wants to have a bit of time off and have some fun. Well, I want to get this violin finished before lunch, so the pegs are working really nicely now, so all I've got to do now is put the strings on, then the violin can settle in while I go out on lunch. I have the tailpiece, I've already put fine tuners on there, so now it's all about just putting on the strings. So I put the string in, I wind it over itself, and then I push it as close to the peg box as possible. And by doing that, it actually pulls the peg inwards. That way you don't ever have problems with slipping pegs. If you do that, you just got to make sure that the pegs work smoothly and that you have peg paste on there, because otherwise you might have problems with sticking pegs. It's a very delicate balance. Alright, I've got to put the sound post in. Okay, now I'm going to head out for lunch. I'm meeting a friend, a really good friend of mine, and I will be back after lunch. Okay, I'm back from lunch, so I've just got to do this sound post and then I've got some clients trying out instruments. Okay, so I got back from lunch around 2 o'clock. It's now 5 o'clock, actually 10 past 5, and I've literally just spent time with clients. Now, I don't always film clients, you know, to allow them their privacy. So basically, I help two wonderful kids find new instruments. One was super lovely, like he didn't want to buy the more expensive instrument because he was worried about his mum. It's just really sweet, even though like she was totally fine with it. He ended up getting the Hofmeister violin that I showed you earlier. He absolutely loved it. It's such a beautiful instrument. The other client bought actually the other violin that I finished last night. So there you go. So I'm gonna have to set up more. I'm totally exhausted. So I'm gonna make this a 2-day video. I'm gonna finish up now. Like I said, I'm pretty tired. I'm going to close my shop, have a nice night. We've got a games night with friends, so we're going to be playing board games and card games and things like that. Should be fun. Have dinner, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with my coffee. Okay, so I'll be gluing up a violin. I have to clean a violin. That's for a service. I'll be making a bridge for that one as well. That's for a conservatorium student. I have to plane a fingerboard. And then I've had an emergency that came a little while ago where the entire bottom of the violin had come apart. So I've got to glue that. Yeah, so it's going to be a fun day. Like I said, no customers today. So I'll take the strings off this violin. That's the one where I have to plane the fingerboard. Yeah, on this violin, the fingerboard's just a bit too hollow. So it's got too deep a scoop. And the client's really struggling with the client's really struggling playing, especially in the middle, because the string height's just too high and struggling with double stops, so I want to get that right. Alright, let's get the clamps off this violin back here. So this violin had totally, the bottom block, the rib had literally peeled off, like it was so unglued. Bit of a rough one because the player borrowed the violin of a colleague while her violin was being repaired, and then the whole violin kind of fell apart after the extremely humid event we had earlier in the year. But you know, they feel responsible, so Put the clamps away. The violin I just glued. I'm just going to wash all the glue off. So I had to glue this whole area down here. So this entire rib had come off the bottom block. The top was off, the bottom was off. So to clean off glue, I just soak it with a bit of cold water and then I'll wash it off with hot water. I don't think the glue is quite hot enough to glue up this violin. That's the one from yesterday. I'll check everything over, make sure that everything's glued. Oh, there's a slight connection there. Yeah, sometimes you can get a buzzing noise just up here. And where the top of the F-hole might just touch, the bottom of the F-hole here might touch the top. That can do a buzzing noise. Fantastic. And I do want to clean this area a little bit first. And I have to clean another violin. So I might do those two things together. But first I will just, I do want to plane this fingerboard. The only annoying thing about it, it's a little bit of a messy job. I'm going to end up with ebony dust all over myself. I'll wear an apron. White shirts and ebony dust don't mix well. That looks a whole lot better. Just got to quickly glue the nut on. And that glue just has to dry for the nut, and then I'll lower the nut probably this afternoon, and then that violin will be finished. Before I continue, I've quickly got to clean up my desk. I am going to employ some new technology that's called Magic Tidy. Watch this. Whoa, look at that. That is awesome. It is such good technology. And it even puts my coffee cup here, and the coffee is still warm. And not only that, it also put the bowl for my next, for my next job right here. It's just amazing technology. Gotta love it. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'll wash the glue off this. I've been soaking this while I've been doing the other job, so I've been constantly wetting it, and now the time has come to just get some hot water and just wash this area. Then I am going to clean the area under the fingerboard of the violin that I want to glue shut. And then the final thing I want to do is I want to clean a whole violin. That way I'm just using the water all at once. Okay, so we've got that. So next I'm going to just clean this area under here. I'm going to let that dry. I want to polish this area before I close the violin because it's very hard to polish under the fingerboard when the fingerboard's glued on. Okay, I'm going to get some fresh water and then I'll clean the next violin. One sip of coffee and it's basketball time. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm very good at basketball, but it's fun. And I'll get better. My son's a lot better than me. So I'm going to polish this top plate and then I'm going to glue on the top plate. And then I have an instrument to finish that we're sending today. It's a Piere Lomont Master violin. The player wanted a chin rest, a different chin rest, and also a tailpiece with one fine tuner. So I will sort that out in a minute. Here's the rest of the instrument. I've already cleaned the inside, so now it is just got to figure out that it all fits together nicely. Okay, so the clamps are on. I am just going to clean some of the glue around the outside here. I don't like to leave too much residue if possible because it can dry and peel off the varnish. Alright, now literally I'm going to do a little bit more cleaning and then I'm going to put it aside to dry. And then I'll bring over that Piere Lomont Master to just do the final adjustments before we send it. And then I'll actually package it all up, ready to go to Maryland in the United States. I've got to do the final setup of this Piere Lomont Master. And then, yeah, we've got to package it and everything. It's got an incredible sound. I am so impressed with it. I am just taking the strings off, and I'm going to change the chin rest as well. Just got to adjust the sound post. I'm going to go next door, tune it up, give it a good play. Got a beautiful flurry elbow picked out here. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to package that up and we're going to send it off to the United States. All ready to go. I'm going to put quite a bit of bubble wrap around it to make sure it's super safe. Okay, so I got another a violin sent to me recently that needs a service. So I'm just checking it over. I'm making sure that everything is working well. The varnish looks a bit crazed. You can see that. So the instrument probably needs a good clean and polish. Oh yeah, so plain fingerboard, clean and polish violin. I'm just dictating to Coralie, who's writing everything down. I don't think the joints are fully open, but they're loose. Okay, so ideally I would like to raise the neck action and do a bridge and sound post. The bridge is slightly bent. And then just servicing pegs. I'll call her and have a talk to her about this. Okay, that's great. So yeah, we're going to email that off and we'll wait for a reply. Okay, it's time to have lunch. I'm going to head off. I'm meeting another friend. Do meet a lot of friends for lunch, don't I? Gonna bike ride there, of course, and that should be nice. I might take you on the journey just a little bit. Okay, so I just had lunch with another friend. This is one of my favorite areas here. I love some of the older houses. Here's the Gallery of Modern Art. Alrighty, I'm back. It's actually fairly late. It's 3 o'clock. I took a little bit of extra time because today the weather is going to be really beautiful and tomorrow it isn't. So I may as well do more bike riding today and more work tomorrow while it's raining. So I had this violin that I cleaned earlier, so I might give that a rough polish and then give it a proper polish later. Take a look at this. This is really amazing looking. It's actually starting to come together really nicely. But I still need to add a fair bit of varnish on there, so I'm going to do that now. While I am there, I may as well sort out the varnish. Remember that violin where I glued the bottom block here? So I'm going to add the varnish to that one at the same time. I'm going to let that dry and then I'll polish it. That violin will have one area that looks really beautiful and the rest of the violin is going to need some work still. Then this is the violin where I planed the fingerboard this morning. I also have to lower the bridge, so I'm just going to lower the nut where I planed the fingerboard. Now I have to lower the bridge as well on this for this violin, so it's a little bit high for the player, so I'll double check that. I'll just go and get it. We'll get these strings back on. Not 100% happy with this one string groove on the nut. This has a very slight tilt to the left. Okay, let's just try and make sure that the string spacing is... Oh my god, that is perfect. Absolutely perfect. He's gonna love that. The string heights are so much better. 0.5 millimeter low on the E and the G, but he said he liked it low. So that's what I've done. It's 3mm at the E string, 5mm at the G, like that's here at the fingerboard. So right there and right there. 0.4mm on the G at the nut and 0.25mm at the E at the nut. I was going to put this violin together, the one where the bottom block had come apart, but I realized that the top plate is also loose on this, so I'm going to glue that on. Fantastic, so I've glued on the bottom block here. I'm going to put this aside and let it dry. I was going to try out 2 violins, but obviously I didn't get that other one finished because it had that open join, so I can't, I can't finish a violin. I would never finish a violin like that. So here we are, I've got that other one. Just going to give it a play, make sure everything's fine. Okay, that's quite nice. It's a J. Heidi violin. This is my Lomont Master. I want to give that one more play. I was going to send it today, but I want to just let it settle in a tiny bit longer. So I'm going to let it settle in on the weekend and then send it on Monday. Yeah, I'm really happy with that, how that's working. So I'll try it again. I'll end up packing it up on the weekend and we'll send it on Monday. So Brady, you've got a beautiful violin coming your way. I think you'll love it. Okay, I'm basically going to finish up. I'll just quickly talk you through some of the things that I haven't finished that I'd hoped to. One, of course, is the violin that I just glued before. So that is just gluing. I'll let that glue overnight and I'll finish it tomorrow. It's not going to be great because it's not in an optimal condition. I just repaired the area down there. The bridge isn't working for it or anything else, but the client brought it in because she'd borrowed it, because her instrument was getting repaired, and now she just needs to give it back in a good condition. But, you know, obviously she's not going to do a major restoration. That wouldn't be fair. So I'm going to head back over to the workshop. I'll finish a couple of things and then I'm going upstairs and have afternoon tea with my family, and I'll do more work tomorrow. I'll talk you through the rest of the things quickly. Okay, so this violin I cleaned. You watched me clean it. I'm in the process of polishing it. I added a whole lot of varnish around the edges. It also needs a bridge, so I'm basically optimizing this violin. It's for a violinist who's studying at the Conservatorium in Brisbane, and it's going to be working beautifully. She bought it in Asia and I don't think it's ever sounded perfect. I'm really looking forward to getting that sounding good. Obviously, I have the other violin back that I'm storing back here that I glued shut. I'll be working on that later, and I'm currently working on my new violin. I've cut out the violin and I've rough filed it. So this is going to be my new violin. It's going to have a one-piece back cut on the slab. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. The piece of timber is just magical. Over the weekend, hopefully I'll be cutting around the edges, evening those up, getting those corners looking perfect, and then I'll be putting in the purfling, which is the inlay, which looks a bit like this. Black line, white, black. And that's the inlay that goes into here, but I'm going to do a proper violin making video next year, so I won't share too much for now, but I think later in the build I'll probably get so excited about it that I will share some of it with you. And yeah, I'm heading off. I'm going home now. I will actually work tomorrow, even though it's a Saturday. I enjoy my work, so I'll do a little bit of work on Saturday, but I'm mostly going to do things that I feel like doing, like the new making and a couple of other things, so I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being part of my days, 2 days. If you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and the little bell. Always important to hit the little bell because that way you find out when I post my next video, and you'll find out when I go live, which I usually, when I post my new videos, I try and go live and have a little bit of a chat at the same time so we can interact a little bit. My internet here is getting faster, so I will probably do some live videos in the future. I did one a while ago, but the internet was so dreadful that it was embarrassing. But I have recently gotten Starlink, and it's a lot faster. So hopefully we'll be able to get a nice clear interaction going. Thank you so much for watching. Keep making beautiful music. Remember, your instrument's also very important, like it's a very important part. But you know, just get the best instrument you can afford. You know, you don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars. You can actually get some good instruments at a lesser price, especially if you're living in a country where $1,000 is really a lot of money. You know, buy the best thing you possibly can. You're learning from my videos how the setup should be, so try and get one with a really good setup. I don't sell the cheaper instruments overseas. It's just too much work for me. I can't do it. There's just me. So I only sell my better instruments starting at about $2,000 overseas. Yes, so anyway, keep making beautiful music. Thank you so much for watching. You're a wonderful community. I really enjoy making videos for you. Sometimes it's a little bit hard just pressing that record button for me. It's always, you know what it's like to public speak. It's never easy. So I'm really grateful for this wonderful community that's also supporting me making the videos, and I really want to support string players with my content. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.